Assalamu alaikum, everybody. Welcome to another episode of HR Diaries. Today, I want to discuss why you're getting rejected in the interviews. There are lots of reasons. There are many reasons. In fact, there's so many reasons that it's very difficult to bring them all in a summarized manner. But I'll lay down a few straight-off reasons why that happens. You'll commonly read on Google when you search for such a thing. Number one, perhaps you're not qualified enough. You may not have relevant experience. Maybe you're not dressed appropriately for the interview. You weren't interested enough. You appeared to be lethargic. You said something which didn't set very well with the interviewer. But along this, I've done a lot of research online, and what I've found is that a lot of people, a lot of candidates, especially those that have faced a couple of interviews where they got rejected, feel that it's the company's fault. They feel the company is to blame, they feel the recruiter is to blame, they feel the hiring manager is to blame. My bottom line on this, and I feel this is the crust of my learning in the last 20 years in this profession, I've been at both sides of the table. I've conducted interviews and I've also given interviews. While there have been a lot of cases where I may have been selected, but there have been many more cases where I was not. And it gave me an opportunity to learn. Perhaps because of the reason that I'm in this profession, so I thought thinking about it, and I got to the point where I think I've come to certain conclusions. Number one, doesn't matter who's wrong, doesn't matter who's to blame. Blame yourself. Start there. You must have read, and I'm sure you must have read this a long time ago. You really can't change anything. And that's the honest truth. But what you can do is influence. So why not start influencing yourself? See, it's a matter of numbers, probability. There was once a time when universities were graduating maybe 50, 60 people in a year. Nowadays, the same universities are graduating in the thousands. Computer science graduates alone in Pakistan amount to more than 5,000 per year. And I'm talking about all universities. If you pick up the top universities, that's around 2,000 to 2,500 graduates every year. And there's different subfields within computer sciences, engineering, development, IT, and so on. So what that means is that every March, when the fall graduates come out, it's not just you, but 2,500 people who belong to ACE institutions who are all vying for the same number of positions, which might be 200, 300 or 400 in the entire market, and they're all vying for the same. So out of those 2,500 people from the best institutes, they're likely going to be only 300-400 that will have a job available. So looking at that number, let's say 300 or 400 get hired. What about the rest? What about the other 2,500 that don't belong to such great institutes? And when I talk about institutes, see, it's important to remember, if you're lucky enough to get a top-notch institute, you will end up being in the top selection portion. If you end up being in a university that's ranked low, naturally you would not be that high. Now, the real fact is that in the market, many companies have selected certain universities, and the reason being, it's no discrimination, it's simple stats. They look at probability, they look at the numbers, they look at the past data, and it tells them that graduates that we as a company have hired from X university have proven to be better than Y university, and so on. So really, when you go around blaming the system, the selection system, discrimination because I'm from X university, not from Y university, and so on, all you're doing is creating hurdles for yourself. Nobody is creating or closing those doors for you. Nobody is creating the hurdles for you. It is you yourself. So what do you do about it? Very simple. Improve yourself. Stand out from among the rest. If you stand out from the other people, you have a much better chance statistically of being hired. And it's not just about looking for a job. It's equally the same. I mean, you go on a freelancing website like Fiverr or Odesk or anything like that. People are bidding on projects. People who actually have a skill which stands out earn more and better projects. They make better yield out of it. So it's very simple. Invest in yourself. So instead of going out and buying an iPhone, 12 Pro, for a good 200 plus K. You might want to invest maybe 50, 60K into your own self and do some courses. So that's going to be my message for today. I'm going to elaborate on this in the coming sessions, and we'll talk more in detail. I look forward to your questions, which hopefully we can discuss and answer. I'm more than happy to give personal advice as well. You could just pop me an email from hrdiaries.com. My email ID there is krana@hrdiaries.com, and usually I have a 24-hour to maximum 48-hour turnaround time. So thank you for listening, and until the next video, aloha.